Hey, so yeah, John, thanks for coming on the Plumbify Podcast, mate. I really appreciate it. You're gonna have to help me with your last name, mate. How do I say it? Should I just say Costa or?
Yeah, just do Costa, mate. Yeah, it's Costandinides.
Costandinides.
That's it. Spot on.
Gotcha. And yeah, John. So John is better known for his, I suppose better known for his Instagram handle, Life of a Maintenance Plumber. Has roughly 63,000 followers. I think you have now, mate. That's pretty epic.
It's climbing slowly. It is a bit of hard work.
Still climb at this point? Like, how does that go?
I think it's peaked. I think it's peaked at its as much as as a plumber can possibly get. I would think on there.
Yeah, man.
I'm no celebrity that's gonna skyrocket, but I think I've probably got as much as a plumber can go.
I think you'd have to be happy with 63,000.
Yeah, I think so. That's enough. It's hard work, John, keeping that wrapped.
I bet, mate. Sorry, I think there's a bit of a delay. We'll try and work through it. Mate, can you just let us know, because I don't think too many people would know too much about your backstory. So I'd like to just know sort of how you got into plumbing and how you got to the point that you're at now, I suppose.
Well, I started, so when I finished high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I started doing a business course because everyone was pushing, my parents were pushing me to do some sort of, accounting and all this crap. Wasn't interested. Anyway, I started doing a marketing course. So at TAFE. So I got an advanced diploma in marketing. Finished that one. I sort of lost interest towards the end. Followed that through, finished that, got that. And then I went overseas for like 3 months with a mate. And then came back and I used to work at the supermarket as well, part-time while I was studying and stuff. So I was working part-time at the supermarket. And then my brother's a plumber. And I was just hanging out with him one day and I just said, mate, do you need a hand at work? And he's like, oh yeah, whatever, come along a couple of days or whatever. So I said, all right, putted along, came along with him. And then I think maybe 2 months or something, ended up starting the apprenticeship with him. So yeah, started the apprenticeship. That was about, when was that? Probably 15, 16 years ago.
Okay.
And
that's about when I started. What year were you born, John? Can I ask?
84.
Okay, yeah, cool. So would you start as a adult apprentice then?
I don't know, what's the age limit
over
for
21, I think. Over 21.
Over 21, yeah. I probably would have, but yeah, I think I would have, but I think the pay was still shit, I think.
Yeah,
back then, I think it's a lot better now. Anyone starting compared to what I started with. But yeah, I think I can't remember. I probably got like 300 something bucks or something take home, I think, back then, first year apprentice.
Yeah, I was getting $263 a week. I remember it. Like
okay.
That was tough, man, back then.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and how about where you are now, John? So you've PK1, is that what's your business?
So that was so that was my brother's business, and now I'm on my own. So the company name's Life of Maintenance Plumber.
Okay, interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, awesome. Yep.
Yeah, so I switched with that. So now I'm just purely on my own. I'm just riding the wave, mate, of what I started on Instagram. So
awesome. How long you been out on your own for?
Since the end of last year, I started my own. So
part of a
little. Yeah, it's good, man. It's busy. It's pretty a lot more work than I was before. So when you're on your own, you got to there's no one there to help you do anything. So the workload's just doubled pretty much.
And is it just you?
Just me, man. Yeah, just me.
Yeah.
I've got a mate who fills in for me as well if I can't get to, or I need a hand on stuff. So he's a plumber as well. He just floats around. And yeah, I use him probably once a week, maybe, if he gets a little bit over the top.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. What sort of work
yeah.
do you guys do? It seems obviously you do a lot of
Uh,
maintenance. That's pretty obvious. But what sort of work are you
um,
guys doing?
Pretty much everything, man. Pretty much everything. Been doing lots of we've done a few cafes, and then in between that, I do a lot of drain work, camera inspections.
Hmm.
We've been cleaning out or something random, cleaning out a property. That's of the person that lived there, whatever. I think he passed away or whatever, and left all the crap in the house. So the real estate
Yeah.
was selling it up, and they had no one to literally go through his stuff. So we been just getting trailers and trailers of crap and throwing in the tip at the tip. So
Find any like
that's
good
random.
treasures or gems in there?
Nah, don't worry. I was looking for some cash. It was an old bloke, an old Italian guy. I'm thinking,
Oh,
I'm gonna.
surely.
Oh no, I'm looking, mate. The manholes, everything. I'm gonna find something here. He's hit something. But
Oh, bugger.
yeah,
You
just
didn't
yeah,
find anything.
any nah, spewing. But that's sort of random stuff. We had to cut down trees and mow the lawn because it was like 3 foot high. No one, and they're trying to
Yeah.
sell this joint.
Yeah.
So I don't mind doing anything, man. I just mix up your plumbing day a bit.
Yeah. So
Um,
the PK1, like obviously that was your brother's business.
yeah. I
Yeah.
was just working with him. So um,
How's he going
he's
now
got
without you?
his yeah, he's got his son's almost finished his apprenticeship. So I think he
Oh,
might be
cool.
fourth year now.
Yeah.
So I had to sort of just hang around a little bit for him and just get him through a little bit before
How you
I moved
finding
on.
how you finding over there with apprentices? Because over here in Adelaide, it's a absolute struggle town.
Struggle.
How you going?
Yeah. I think it's yeah. For even when I speak to other guys, they sort of struggle as well. Some kids are really keen. Like if you get one, like you can find a young guy that's whatever is super keen, and then you get ones that are just just
Mm,
tagging along. They're not interested, sort of thing. They're all just bloody on their phone and crap like that
yeah. Yeah.
on their lunch breaks, and they want to do their little bit and go home, and that's it. They don't care. But
Yeah. Yeah. There's a bit of
yeah,
that
it is.
going on.
I think it's 50-50, man,
Yeah.
at the moment. Some guys they get a really good one, and then some are just, you meet up with some plumbers and they're just, you know, the apprentice is dragging his feet, sort of thing. Just
Yeah.
he's had enough or whatever. Or some of them don't like hard work, and once you put them on the shovel or something,
Yeah. They're
they're
out of there.
the energy levels go down and they've lost interest, and they're just trying
Yeah.
to wrap up the day. But
100%. Did you know what's
yeah.
interesting? Between Victoria and SA, I think you have to correct me if I'm wrong, but one thing we're really struggling with over here is roof plumbers. But over here, roof plumbing is a separate trade. But
Okay,
is am I
yeah.
right in saying that all plumbers are roof plumbers as well?
Well, we do. It's part of the curriculum as we're learning. We become a roof plumber, but at the end of it, when you're doing your licenses and stuff, you obviously come out as a registered roof plumber. But
Yeah.
obviously you can't sign off any roofs or anything like that, and then you can do your course. You do your
Hmm.
license course and become qualified a roof plumber
Okay.
as well.
See,
So um, at
in
the end when you've yeah, go. Sorry.
oh, sorry, mate, the delay is hurting a bit, but in Adelaide, it's like its own 4 year apprenticeship to be a roof plumber. So we're really battling to because
Okay.
I got a roofing part of the business, and Jesus, just roofers just don't exist at the moment. So that's been a bit of a struggle. But yeah, I was pretty surprised when I found out that in Melbourne, like most guys who are plumbers are pretty capable in roofing as well. Whereas here, it's definitely not like that at
Yeah.
all. It's either you're a roof plumber or you're a plumber.
Yeah. No, he's pretty good. You learn that in trade school, so which is pretty
Hmm.
lucky. Especially I've noticed, like if I put something up and on Instagram, and you'll see like a whole heap of American guys going, "What the hell are you doing on a roof? Why is the plumber touching the roof?"
Yeah,
And you're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
so over there it's completely different. That's like a whole different whole little section, completely different from plumbing. It's just the roofer.
yeah, yeah.
He's not even a plumber. So
Yeah, right.
um,
Do you have
yeah,
any through your Instagram? I've got a lot, obviously heaps of questions about social media I'm hoping to get to, but one that just popped into mind was have, have you had a chance through the socials and to interact with a lot of guys overseas?
yeah, a fair bit. I did went a couple of years back. I don't know if you saw the one where I went to Japan, went for a lot of
Yeah, I was going to
plumbers.
ask you about
Yeah, so we went there and I met some of the American dudes. They were pretty cool.
that.
That came over. Yeah, so that was pretty good to mingle with those guys. A lot of guys I chat to regularly on on Instagram as well.
Yeah.
Just through posts and just seeing what they do and what we do, and they just got questions. They're just asking like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I'll pull out a
Yeah,
tool. I'm like, "What tool's that?" And they're like, "Yeah," because they got whole complete, PEC systems and crap like that. So
yeah, yeah,
yeah, I do talk to a lot of the guys there, especially like you get a few people in Germany and stuff like that who are, they've got a whole different as well array of
mm,
doing things there. So it's
mm,
yeah, and I enjoy just you build a few friendships with a few of the guys overseas and
yeah.
just see how they do it really.
How did the Japan thing come about?
So Ryan, who runs the page, he had organized something through a couple of plumbers in Japan, and they were try. So anyway, they organized the whole little thing, and they said, invite or get at least 5 plumbers. They selected like 5 plumbers that they wanted to come over, and I was one of the guys there that they wanted to come over, and they picked two American guys, another Canadian dude as well to come across, and then they just showcased us through their plumbing manufacturing
Yeah.
sections that they do, and a couple of manufacturers of plumbing tools. There was one there of like another one that has blades, like circular saw blades and all that kind of reciprocating blades and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, because they do pride themselves in having quality tools and workmanship and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they're really weird, like not weird. They're very different kind of people in Japan. They're all very reserved and
Yeah.
super nice, and they take pride in everything they do, even plumbing and
Yeah.
things like that. And I think they're just trying to promote it as well. They're just trying to get a bit of promotion in over there for plumbing, because it's a lot of, because over there, like here, like if your kid said, I want to be a plumber or electrician or whatever, you'd say, yep, go for it. The trade, you can't go wrong with the trade. Over there, it's a little bit different. Over there, they're pushing for their kids to be, business orientated and all that kind of crap.
I can imagine.
So they're not really, if they turn around and said, I want to be a plumber to their parents, I'll be pretty disappointed unless their parents were from a trade.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're trying to like pump it up over there and try to get more people onto it. Because there's a lot of older, all the tradies that I met were pretty, like, probably in their 40s to 50s sort of thing. There wasn't many young guys coming through the ranks there. But yeah, that's what the guy was saying. They're just, their parents are very old school minded, and they got to be, business related sort of career.
So do they do, is you see some, how's the plumbing compare over there to what it does here? Like what sort of things, is there anything that stood out that they do differently?
They do. We went to one of the places like the water authorities, which is pretty cool, and they showed us their office. So like, I don't know what your water authority, but like we've got like Yarra Valley or whatever, and they do all the water mains and sewer mains. Yeah.
Yep.
So we went and visited them, and they took us through like a bit of a tour of what they do and things like that, which is pretty cool. But they do regular maintenance, so all their pipes get dug up regularly, and they don't let things like, I mean, in our area, things are 120 years old sort of thing. All the plumbing there in houses and stuff like that. So it's constant work for them, but they constantly update things. And because the one thing that one of the guys actually asked me for was the Milwaukee Air Snake, right? So I sent him one of those, because it was like, because one of the guys his English was pretty bad, and he got a translator, came up to me, he's like, mate, he goes, get me this, I want this, because I don't even know what it does, I want it, right? And I'm like, okay, anyway, I got it for him, and I was trying to explain to him what it does, and he goes, mate, you know what? Because we don't even have plungers, like, because they've got the bidets and all that, and everything's flushed, and they don't use much paper and stuff like that, and they maintain their sewer pipes and blah 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 in the mains. He goes, mate, no, there's no plungers. Like, plumbers don't use plungers. There's no need for plungers. And I was like, oh, because, but it's so cool. I want it, you know. I want that plunger. So yeah,
I've seen you use that a few times, man, on Instagram. That thing's a weapon. That's the one where it builds up the pressure, and you push it and it just goes bang.
Bang, yeah. You got to start slow. Some people get excited and they go full pressure and bloody bust the trap off. They've gone on a basin or something. They've pushed it and bust the trap off it.
Yeah.
But always go slow. But I just got a basic. Sometimes I take it in the car. Sometimes I don't. But I just got the basic little row pump sitting on the back of the ute at the moment. Gets through the thing.
That's actually something I wanted to ask you. Is like, I know you got a lot of quite a few sort of connections in the tool game, through socials and that. Do you have a particular tool that stands out that not many people use, but you reckon it's just sick?
Far out. I don't know, actually. I'm used to sort of, don't know, actually.
Come back to it.
We'll come back to it. I reckon there's a few there. I just, even like some of the Milwaukee stuff comes out, the transfer pumps or the little transfer stick, simple stuff like that just to get it out, get water out of a trench for you, as simple as that is. There's lots of new stuff, man, but I just,
we'll come back to that question. Obviously, man, I've got a lot of questions around your Life of a Maintenance Plumber page, and I'd like to just hear, I've got a few questions around some of the opportunities and things that have come from it. So, when you started the page, would you start the page in 2015? I'm pretty sure.
I think so, 15 or 16, I think, somewhere about there.
I did research, and it took me about 20 minutes to scroll to the bottom. I did get there in the end, but there's that many posts,
there's a button up the top. If you click it and it says about this account, and it'll tell you the date.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, there's a link up the top.
So when you started that, sorry, John, when you started that in 2015, mate, did you ever think you'd get to this point with, having all these partnerships and facilitate, connections with worldwide brands and stuff? That's pretty crazy to think, from the start that you'd end up with this sort of following. I remember my first post was a post of a shitty old, it was at my mate's house. He goes, can you check out this heater? I'm like, okay. So not like a
space
heater. I remember.
Space heater. It was, the thing's bloody burnt out and everything, right? and I just went there. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, what the hell is this, man? Like, seriously, this thing's gone. And I don't know why. I just took a photo of it and I put it up. And I think I was like anonymous at the start, for the first probably, I don't know, 6-7 months or something. Because there wasn't much going on. Like, there wasn't many sort of, I think I slipped in at the right time. There wasn't much going on for tradies. I don't think it was there wasn't any big tradies on there at the point, in Australia anyway. But I jumped on there and I just started, I was mainly just hanging shit on a few of my mates, like that were on there, like, and I was anonymous, and they're like, oh, who's this guy? And I'm like, oh man, I've got no idea. He was hanging shit on me too. But yeah, no, and then I just started posting a few things, and I was just posting things that other people weren't posting, like blockages and behind the scenes sort of stuff. I thought was a little bit more interesting, so I started posting that, and then this was before I even knew, like, there wasn't many, tools were around, but I wasn't really, it's not to where it is now, where there's new Milwaukee stuff and things like coming out, every month or whatever. And I'd gone, and I don't know how it started. I think one of the Scotty from Total Tools in South Melbourne, he had a big account as well. It was probably one of the other big accounts on the gram there.
Yeah.
And then he started talking to me on there one day, and I thought, oh, you know what, I'll go. We're doing these jobs in St Kilda, so near where his store is. And I went past, and yeah, I bumped into him there, and he was pretty cool. Gave me some things, some little promo stuff, and yeah, he enjoyed the page, and I liked his page because I like tools, but back then I didn't really want to spend money on tools, and things like that. It was like, sometimes I look back at when you're an apprentice, and I had, stuff or tools, but we got every single job done, whatever it was, we got it all done. So I was like, but then, you buy the tools and it's, a little bit more helpful and things like that. So, and then that sort of started, then we sort of got into contact with Milwaukee as well, and Total Tools and stuff like that. And because so we're going through Total Tools South Melbourne as a sort of a go-to for upgrading tools and all that. And then Scotty goes, mate, just start promoting the tools, and I can help you out, and blah blah blah, and tools, and if you want to, I'll get you a better price on the tools or whatever. And then it sort of went off, and then head office got involved and said, hang on, do you want to do a little bit for us, a little bit of work for us? And I said, yeah, no worries, I'll do that.
Right.
So that's how that sort of started off. And then, all the other brands have sort of slowly joining the thing, in the past sort of 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
I've joined the social media sort of page.
I was going to ask, like, was there one post or something that sort of really, went crazy for you?
I think the one thing that I do remember, I'd gone to my brother's shed, and he had this old reciprocator, M12 reciprocator, and it was like seized up. It was shit, right? Seized up. And I said, and he goes, and he didn't even have any Milwaukee tools or batteries. He just had this one thing. I don't know where he got it from. And I'm like, you know what? I just brought my first like M12 tool, and I had a battery. I said, mate, give it to me. I'll see if I can get it going. And I'd done like a post, and it was like opened up, and I got it working, and there was all these little pistons and crap moving, and then I spoke to one of the guys from Milwaukee, rang me, and he's talking. And then like 20 minutes into the convo, goes, mate, because I love that post where you pull that tool apart and you just had to show the operation of it all and blah blah blah. And I think they enjoyed seeing that kind of stuff, and I think they just enjoyed someone starting it off, sort of promoting the tools. Because I think it was I can't remember too much back then, but I remember it was because what was that, probably 7 years ago was that? Now it's about 7 years ago or so. Yeah, I don't think there was. It was pretty quiet on there for tool-wise, for people promoting tools anyway on Instagram.
Yeah. So a lot of it kicked off, you think, like through the promoting tools, sort of.
I think so. Yeah, it all started on that, I think.
And there wasn't any like particular post that really, like, I don't mean followers wise, like that just got you a lot of traction or anything like that, or when people certain companies shared something, or.
I reckon between those and the blockages videos, the ones pulling out the traps, the cables out of the traps and shit. I think either one of those, I think, was just like a point where people go, oh shit, man, look at this, like something different. I think we just got the behind the scenes stuff of clearing a drain, and seeing tools used on a job and stuff like that. I think was just I can't remember the posts now, but I think the combination of those kicked it off, I think.
Yeah. And you spoke about Japan. Obviously, we spoke about that. I'd love to know what some of the other like cool experiences, opportunities you've had that have come through your social media following.
Look, the opportunity just to work with other companies, I think. tool companies and like even plumbing, like Rehow, going to their warehouse and checking out behind the scenes stuff, how they make them, and even Reese, like going to Reese and going to their warehouse here in Melbourne, one of the massive warehouses, and seeing it was something stupid, 55,000 squares of stock, and just seeing how it all operates and how there's like all these hundreds of people behind the scenes, doing in head office and typing away and getting orders ready and crap like that. So I think just seeing how things work behind the scenes as well, behind plumbing companies, how they all operate and get things done for you, sort of thing. So I think just tools, just seeing how different, getting in touch with different companies and seeing behind the scenes stuff, I think is the main opportunity that's popped up through Instagram.
And I'd love to get your thoughts on, being the bloke with the most social media followers in the plumbing space. I feel like I'm gonna speak to you like you're a professional here. So I'd love to just get you, because it seems to be a trend now where a lot of these young kids which is really cool, is they're sort of promoting their self, like as an apprentice, they're like creating a platform for themselves on social media. And I'd love to just hear your thoughts on like the importance of these young apprentices like creating their own sort of brand on social media. Like some of the ones that come to mind, a couple of the lads in Adelaide, like Aussie Apprentice, and there's another young lad that we follow, Fonzie B, who's like, I like the stuff that they do, man. I think that seems to be the trend, and it seems to be pretty important these days for these kids to create that, sort of like personal branding.
Yeah, that's it. I started following him too. He's pretty funny.
He's a good lad.
He's good. Yeah, he's pretty good. He's from up, down your end. So, I think, look, it's all changed, man. Like it's all changed on, obviously, the kids have all changed since before, even with social media's changed everything, I think, as well. But yeah, as long as they do their work, mate, I think they're all right. But as long as they do, doesn't, I obviously don't want to see them using their phone at work, but as an apprentice, you still got to be, after that, or after work or whatever, they can do whatever they want, but obviously still learning when they're an apprentice. But as long as they're learning and they're, having fun at the same time. But that's.
Have you got any tips for those sort of people out there, like apprentices, or I guess like people with a plumbing or trade-based business that are trying to grow their social media following? I know you did it pretty early, so it might be a bit different have you got any tips for people that might be trying to do that?
Well, it is hard work, man. Some people come out and they hit it hard for a few months, and then they turn around and think, shit, this is actually hard work. This is a lot more work than I expected, which it is. But look, I've mastered the, I don't spend that much time on Instagram. I can be on there for a couple of minutes on my lunch break, and I've already, I've gone through, I've already posted something in like 2 minutes or anything like that. So I don't muck around too much now at work, but a lot of the stuff I do as well is after hours or in bed or whatever, I can muck around with a few things.
Yeah.
But yeah, if for people who want to go through, look, I try to tell them just to be natural, like, not even show this, show some of the staff members who are doing who are working for them, or just show behind the scenes how it operates and things like that. Something different. Some people just post up their bathroom renos and all that. That's all fine, but it's it's very professional, but it gets a little bit boring too for other people.
Is there anything that works particularly better, like in regards to is it photos, or is it like is the algorithm more towards reels now? Like, what gives you the most traction, you think? on Instagram, that is.
Look, oh, I don't know, man. Sometimes I go through it. Sometimes my videos go through a flat spot, and then I don't know, like, and then sometimes they pick up, and then sometimes. So I know they say they're pushing reels, but sometimes I go reels and they fall flat on their ass. They don't do anything. And then but now I don't really care, man. I just post up whatever, man. I just post a picture, a video, just post up anything, man. Just as long as you're posting something.
Yeah.
So a lot of people too they're afraid to post the shit stuff. Not the shit stuff as in, the bad stuff behind running a business, or they might have broken something, or you know what I mean. And obviously a lot of people only promote the good stuff on the socials. Obviously you don't promote too bad, but you want to at least promote that you broke something, you fucked up, and now they'll fix it. Because every day, even though you could be plumbing for 20 years or whatever, you still especially maintenance, every day you see something different, and then you might have skipped a step and you've broken something, and then at your own expense you've got to go back and buy a new one, or you know what I mean. But like I think being natural, and then but I think some people just, if you just like, positivity is good, it's all positive posts, but sometimes it's not realistic, man. You can't have every single day being a good day in plumbing. You have a lot of shit days and stressful days, and you have some good days and shit days again. So
that's one of the things I've realized. Like, I've been doing this for my own business, I suppose, for like 12 or 13 years. But I only rebranded to Plumbify like about 3 years ago. It was something else before, but so we've only just sort of like got on the social media bandwagon over the last few years, because it was never a priority. But it is bloody harder than you think to grow your social media following, man. It's the slowest burn ever. Like, but actually, I'd like to, when you get to, we're only at like 500 followers, or not even that, and even that, to get to that's been bloody hard, man. Like, and slow. But when you're getting to like the 63,000, like, your phone must be going like crazy every day.
I'd probably check those at night, man. To be honest, now I don't bother looking at my phone during the day, because it's
you'd have to have the notifications off.
It's off. I've got all that shit off. So I'll muck around with that stuff at night, and that obviously, some people can go to sleep and whatever, but obviously for me, just to keep the thing going, I've got to spend another 2-3 hours at night responding to people. Even I get a lot of apprentices, which my favorite bit of it is like apprentices getting something out of it, more than anything, really. A lot of young kids that message me and say, you've inspired me to get a plumbing apprenticeship or something like that.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah, so they're probably the best things I sort of like, when people give me that feedback. And been watching, they've been watching for years, and they finally took the plunge and started a plumbing apprenticeship. But I just I sort of promote as well, other plumbers as well. I'll post their stuff up as well, just to mix it up. Just I can't sit here and create content for this thing.
Definitely. So you got any favorite plumbers to collab with that you could shout out? Anyone that's like, good to follow?
Good to follow. Oh, there's heaps on there. Like, I get my regulars, Qualified Plumbing in New South Wales, and he's always tagging me up in stuff as well. No, he's a nice guy. I met him a few months ago. There's heaps of there's a couple overseas ones, a couple in Greece as well. Tagged me up on their stories as well, with just cooking barbecues and got the music cranking on the job site and stuff like that. Unrelated to plumbing sort of stuff, but I try to mix it up too. That's why sometimes I throw in a few meat barbecue things at night, and
I saw that. Few spits.
Yeah, a few spits, a few, just mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And just, yeah, and you create like a network with, you know, other plumbers and plumbing companies and stuff like that. Even with Jerry's Bread, I tag them up every time I do a barbie when I'm using their stuff. But like even that, like I've been eating that bread since I was a little kid. Like even when I used to
Yeah.
work at the supermarket when I was a teenager, like I used to see the truck rock up, and my mum would come. Mum would like, "Oh, get some bread, get some Jerry's bread when you come home and on your way home and shit like that." So it's like, I've been using
Yeah.
that brand for like 25 and almost 30 years, sort of thing, as being, I don't know how long
Yeah.
they've been around. It's been a long time. Even when I was, still a youngster, my mum used to get it. And then now hanging shit on them, we chat on Instagram and stuff like that. And it's like, mate, who would have thought this was possible
What
to
do they
chat to
do?
some? They just
Flatbreads
do,
or something
yeah,
for?
just bread for like flat bread for
Yeah.
suvas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
Who would
like,
have
yeah, that's
thought?
something. Who would have thought, like a brand that's been around for, since I was a little kid, then you end up having a chat with them
Yeah.
online and stuff like that. It's like, but
Yeah, that's great. It comes around full circle, doesn't it, sometimes?
yeah. But
How is it?
I
Yeah,
think
that's the
as well.
thing. Sorry. Go on, John.
No. But I think, yeah, even just getting like a social network as well with local plumbers as well. On, you've probably got a few in where you are, but I get, there's a few local ones that we always see each other now on the streets, and
Yeah.
like people you would never have known without social media. You wouldn't have known any of
Yeah.
these plumbers, but now
Yeah.
we see each other like in the northern suburbs and give a bit of a toot in the morning, and then like a few of us, you busy? Can you come and help me do this and do like a camera inspection? And so
Yeah.
it creates a lot of opportunity as well, between plumbers and
Mm.
things like that. So
Do you
I think it's
travel in
pretty good.
Melbourne? Like, it's a big, I guess, and like big place with a hell of a lot of traffic. Do you usually stick to, the northern suburbs or something? Like, you know what I mean? Like in
Um,
Adelaide, we go everywhere basically, but
I try to keep. I don't. I Mate, look, probably I wouldn't go more than 45 minutes. Put it that way.
okay.
Um, yeah, there's a shitload of work just in these suburbs, because where we're from is a pretty old area, so
Hmm.
um, there's constant. They're either renovating or they're pulling the house down or just trying to
Hmm.
maintain it. Some of these old joints. Um, so there's enough here. I don't really have to go far to get work,
Yeah.
which
Is
is
it still
pretty good.
very like in demand plumbers over there? It's like sort of in that COVID period, it was pretty crazy and there was so many trade shortages. How's that faring over
Um,
there now, do you reckon?
Well, I think we're pretty busy. We are pretty busy during the whole COVID thing, because we did a lot of maintenance, real estate maintenance. So it
Hmm.
sort of it didn't stop with us. We just, um, well, they had a bit of a loophole at one stage just on what was an emergency to go to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
they would have just reworded the information and said, "Hey, it's an emergency. Can you go?" But I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of our ones were, burst pipes, hot water service not working, um, roof leaks, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it all fell under emergency sort of work. Um,
Okay.
but I think most people I know, unless they're on a big union site, most people I know were busy. A lot of the union sites, I think, were pretty quiet because they obviously had people, they couldn't allow too many people on site.
Mm.
So a lot of people, took their holidays or whatever and sitting home for a few months.
Yeah.
Um, but I think we didn't really stop.
Yeah. No, no, you're still busy now. That's
Yeah.
good. Well, got your craziest job or most memorable job that comes to mind that you've done? I know you've done a few shocking
Oh,
block
fuck.
drains and some huge hair pull outs.
Um,
Anything that comes to mind that stand out?
the only one I can the one that I can think of that the only time I've ever dry reached on a job was at this blockage. It was like 8 o'clock at night. This real estate agent dragged us out there. Right, he just got this new he started up his own business and he had his first sort of clientele, and he was like busting their ball. He goes, mate, you got to get out there, you know. So my first customer, you know, blah blah blah. This house that he was looking at. So we got out there, and it was like a jungle, right? And I had the K. I didn't have the Jetta. I had the Rigid K 1500 there, the old school one.
Yeah.
And I rocked up there, and the grass was up to here, right? And it was the gully was like down the side of the house. It didn't fit. The machine couldn't get down there. We ended up wedging. I had to call someone to come and help me lift the machine over our head. It got wedged between a fence and the hottie, right?
Yeah.
So that was as far as that was going. And then I had to go in there and use the cable was probably 1.5 meters from the machine. And I was trying to use that. And then someone else was on the lever. And there were just shit flicking up everywhere. It was a mess. Like just the walls of the house were splattered. And it was just coming back up. And it was hitting the fence. And it was like my clothes were drenched. And then I just started dry reaching at one stage. And I was like, oh, mate, I've never dry reached before or after that. Doesn't matter what I've seen. And I was thinking, this, mate, I just want to go home, man. Why did I come here for? This is just not.
Do you have to go home and shower?
Oh yeah, no, shower. I threw my clothes out and everything. I was right off. But that was
you actually just got to go home straight away and shower, and then go back to work if you have to.
Yeah, that's the only one. That's the one that I remember that I actually gagged on.
Yeah.
And then I had to stop and like literally just walk away for like 2-3 minutes and take a deep breath and like.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've been ones where it's up to you, you know, you got to wear your gumboots and get in there and you see turds and scoop them out, and that doesn't really affect me. But this one was just like shit was splattering everywhere, and it was just getting worse and worse and worse. And it was like the cables were catching on because we didn't have the guide on the back, and
yeah.
And I was.
You have to be careful with the Milwaukee air snake, like that you don't
splashback.
Get a big splashback, or you must have to jam it right in there.
Yeah, you got to jam it in there. But I know depending on the toilet, like 80% of the toilets are good. But you get those one toilet it's a weird shape down the bottom. It's a bit squarey, and this thing doesn't really seal. You know, it's a bit square and small, and you can't get the nozzle. What I did with my nozzle is there's a nozzle. It's like a little boot, like a little scooper on the end, and I've actually cut that. I've cut like a piece off it so I can actually get in there properly.
Okay, yeah.
Because this one toilet, that I had, it was just like it was almost squarish down the bottom, and it didn't seal it properly. But I remember I pulled the trigger the first sort of time. But yeah, that's why you always go slow. You always start on like 10 and then see how you go and then go up. Yeah. Because if you go up, sometimes you get some splash. You get a bit that just goes on the floor, but if the bowl's super full.
Isn't that the worst when you use like a gully plunger or something and you haven't got it on the water yet and it just bloody comes right up in your mouth or something?
Yeah, I've seen the guys using the plungers, the hand plungers. They seem to work too. Like the plunging rods.
Yeah, like on a gully, we use them all the time.
Yeah, those, and I've seen people use them on the toilets as well.
Yeah,
the little disc thing they get a go
or something as well. You know.
Yeah, that's it.
But I think we might need to invest in the air snake, man. That seems to be the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, if you can fit it in the car, grab it. It's done a few. The one I remember it did do, there was a job. There was 3 toilets backed up at this restaurant, and my brother had rang me, and we were trying to avoid pulling out the pan at this stage because this joint was open and operating, had people in there and everything. So we're trying to, and the floors were just fucking had an inch of shit throughout the fucking bathroom. So we're trying to avoid it, and he had the cables going, the ones all the American guys all brag about. Yeah. And we used to carry them, and they're like, mate, I can't clear a single toilet with this thing. Because I found with those, I used to go through.
I forgot about those.
Yeah. They used to just dig through the paper. If you had a paper blockage, it used to just dig through it and then pull it out, and then the paper would just collapse on itself, block up. Yeah. And then I found the plunge actually was the best because it sort of sucked the water in and pushed it and got rid of the blockage. But I remember he was mucking around with them, and I went to go help him. He was like, "Oh, come and give us a hand. I'm struggling at this job." and he was mucking around with these things. Anyway, I rocked up with the air snake, and I went to the closest toilet to the main sewer it was, and I plunged it like probably twice or something, and it pushed through whatever it was. It gave that extra little that nudge and just pushed the whole blockage through. But yeah, I think that sort of worked because he had the cables going, that the row pump that wasn't working, and then I came through that and just pushed it all through.
Nice.
But I'm sure that can backfire.
You have to try and send me one over if you can, mate. A road. I just wanted to ask you because this is a legit question I'm wanting to know, I suppose. It's like in Melbourne, are you unable to you can't install like gas space heaters anymore, can you? Hasn't there been a new regulation that's come in around that?
Yep. So with those, they've stopped selling obviously the classic Heritage, Renai Heritage, and all those ones, Spectrums and all that. They're gone.
Spectrums, yeah.
So yeah, that was. I tried to get one last. I think that stopped mid last year. I thought it was going to be a nice, easy swap over, and it was no, they stopped selling it. Didn't you get the ESV, like the Energy Safe Victoria notice? I'm like, yeah, I did, but I didn't really think they were going to stop selling them or whatever. He goes, yeah, no, they stopped selling them. But now they're sort of just got to do, as ugly as it is now, you just got to put in a fireplace, because they're all mainly in the chimney, bricked up older homes. We just cut out a nice piece of cement sheet, paint it, and then you got to put in one of those Renai Energy Saver,
where they circulate, they suck air from the back.
So the ones you got to put the balance flue at the back and stuff like that.
Are you still allowed to service them and stuff like that? Like you don't have to. There's no rules around like ripping them out if you see them or nothing. It's crazy like that, is it? You can still service them.
Yeah, you can still service them, but as soon as they play up, they're you got to rip them out. You got to block them off. So
okay.
Nice. a few of them are still there's heaps around here still floating around, but I think everyone's sort of pushing for those. But everyone at the moment, everyone's a lot pretty scared of using, not scared, but they're hesitant to get gas appliances now.
We've got a massive downturn in gas as well.
Everyone's going to electric, but I think even hot water services and stuff, I'm looking at it I always recommend like a Renai, whatever 24-liter, Infinity or whatever as a bulletproof unit, or as a hot water service. That's the go-to if you can get one there, apart from storage or whatever. But everyone's going to these. You go to all the heat pumps and all this, but I'm looking at it going, mate, you've got so many things that can go wrong with this, with a simple hot water service. You're using gas, but it's pretty efficient. Like I've got two at home, two Renais at home, and they're just they cost pretty much nothing to run. And then you've got these, like you look at these electric units, solar units, and you're like, mate, you got something running all day long, constant parts, and then you might save money now, but when it goes, you're going to shit yourself and rip it out.
Oh, yeah, it takes a long time. You want to put a solar in, that life cycle of getting itself to pay itself back is just doesn't work. The unit's like 10 grand or whatever it is, and to get that money back in energy savings is just, I don't even know if it happens.
Yeah, I know. And then if something goes, like the panel blows, or there's always something going on with it. So like the chromogens and all that, they're all fucking rust buckets.
Chromogen. I didn't want to mention any brands, and I'm not saying this is about chromogen, but I've seen a lot of heat pump fires over here.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen it.
Have you seen any of those?
No.
Oh, I've seen at least 2 or 3 on heat pump hot water heaters. I'm not saying they're chromogen, but they're not chromogen. They're not any of the good brands, put it that way. So, but and when you're not, I'll wrap it up soon, John. But when you're not plumbing, mate, what do you get up to? Because do you follow the footy?
Yeah, I follow Collingwood, mate. Collingwood.
Okay, Collingwood. Yeah, nice.
I only had 2 options when I was a kid. It was Carlton or Collingwood.
Geez, they're going right this year.
Yeah, they're going good. but yeah, I think just the kids now, man, just hanging out with the kids. I try to go full driving if I can get out of here.
Hmm. Is that with the
Uh,
army Jeep thing that you got?
yeah, the old Land Rover. Yeah, the next army
Yeah,
one.
that's sick.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, I'll just need more time um,
Hmm.
to get out of here. I'm
Time is
sure
the
it's gonna.
key.
Hey,
Time is the key with two kids and the business is just not a hell of a lot of
yeah,
excess
that's
time, is there?
yeah. Every yeah, I think every week sometimes I'm like, yep, I'm gonna give myself like half a day off. And then
Yeah,
it's just like, then it just gets crazy. And like, I'm like, what did I say that for? Curse myself, saying I'm going to give
yeah,
myself
yeah,
half. Like, I'm not even hoping for a day off. I'm like, hope just give me like a few hours. And then as
yeah.
soon
A
as I
few
say that to
hours.
myself, even like I go to myself, I'm not gonna like this Saturday. That's it. I'm not working. I'll get like three emergency jobs on a Friday afternoon. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm working Saturday.
Friday specials.
So
Yeah,
yeah, the
we
Friday
got.
specials.
Yeah, we're gonna have Friday specials, man, because today the weather was just crazy, man. I'm probably heading towards you guys now, I'd
Yeah,
imagine, but it was windy and rainy, man, big time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, when I check the charts, man, that's coming from you guys. Whatever you guys are getting, we're getting 5 or 6
Yeah,
hours later.
yeah, it's not good, man. It was windy as.
Yeah.
Mate, future ambitions for the business. I'd just like to know where where you want to go with it. What are you thinking?
Um, I don't know. Tough one, man. Tough one. Um, Probably at some stage grow it. Yeah, probably grow. It's going to grow at some stage. I don't know how, but at some stage it will. Yeah, it's hard to say, man. Hard to say, but I think
It's
it'll
all right not
definitely
to know.
grow. Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know. Look, at the moment, I'm just doing, mate. I'm just trying to keep up with the work. I'm not even. I'm not.
Mm,
I can't even plan 2 weeks ahead of
yeah.
my week. Like it's literally just. I've just got
Just
my
survival
diary.
mode.
I've just got my diary open, and they're just like, when are you coming? When are you coming? I'm like, mate. Like, there's no more days. Like this week, next week, the days are finished. Like
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes you wish there was. I mean, if you were I think if you had no kids and you were single or something, you'd work friggin' 7 days a week, man, just
That's
to
it. Yeah.
smash them,
The kids change it,
smash them
don't they?
through.
Because you can't
Yeah,
just like before I had kids, I could work whenever I wanted. Like my missus didn't care if I wasn't home that bad. But now
yeah,
it's you got to try and be home at like 4:30. I could go till 12 o'clock at night if I easily
yeah,
every night. But just family comes into it as well, so it's definitely changes the dynamic.
yeah. But
And what
yeah, that's
about?
just yeah. You go.
Sorry, John.
Sorry.
The delay, the delay sucks. But future ambitions on the socials or you got any exciting plans or projects in the works on the social scene that you could share?
Nothing planned, man. But what I generally always what ends up happening on socials is I just leave it, and something always pops up.
Yeah.
Like I always think to myself, you know what? I'm gonna have a break for a bit, and then literally something will pop up, and I'm like, bang! All right, we're jumping on it. Um, it's one
Yeah.
of those I'll go through waves where it's like let's back off a bit. I'm gonna concentrate on doing this, and that, and then you'll get a message from one of the companies saying, hey man, we need to, can you help us do this, and that? And I'm like, all right, like we're back on it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, nothing. I don't plan anything. It's just whatever pops up. Oh, we do it.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. I'll
Yeah,
just finish off with a few like rapid fire questions, man. You can answer them in one word or however you
yeah.
want. Strangest foreign object you found when you've been clearing a block drain?
um,
I know you got
Probably
standard tampons and stuff, but I was hoping I might hear a
tampons.
dildo story or something.
Nah, not. Well, I see heaps of those. Like a lot of rentals. Right, you go. Rentals are different from public customers. Yeah, I don't know if you do any rentals.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But they're a different like a different like breed of people. And like a lot of them just like open the door and like, yeah. the basin's blocked. It's down the end of the corridor on the left or whatever, and you go there and you're like, they haven't cleaned anything, and you open it up and there's like fucking dildos and shit under the basins, and it's like, what?
Yeah,
And you got to
yeah,
move
we get
them, and whereas a public customer would probably clean the frigging cupboard for you, clean it out, and have nothing there and crap.
Yeah.
But I think the weirdest things we used to pull out was like frigging condoms and spoons and knives and shit like that out of drains on a property. But yeah, nothing's too rags. I think some people throwing t-shirts and shit down there, and you pull them out and you're like, what the hell? But
no one ever owns up to the tampons or anything.
No, never.
It's always it's always the tenant before them.
Yep. Nothing really exciting down a drain. I've probably friggin', if you've lost a tool, I've lost a Jetta head down there one day. I was cursing. Felt like I dropped it, and I rolled it, and it's gone perfect down the drain. I'll see you later. Direct connection.
Did you get it out?
Direct connection gone. This thing had gone into the mains before I even blinked.
Bugger. Mechanical rigid drain machine or hydrojet?
I think they both got their place. Like I used the rigid one for I don't know, 12, 13 years. I think for close stuff like boundary traps and things like that. Yeah, if it's a clean yard and you've got easy access, I think the sewer machine was pretty good. Anything long distance, I think the Jetta comes in. Anything in a difficult spot or anything like that, I think the Jetta just is a good all-rounder. Even cleaning stormwater pipes, and you can't really clean stormwater out with the rigid machine. But for versatility, I think that the Jetta is good. It gets there faster, and you can retrieve it, faster than obviously.
That's true.
With the cables, undoing the cables and putting them on, and it's a bit tiring by yourself.
That's a good point. Normal tap washers or hydroseals?
Hydroseals.
In relation to smell, what's worse, like hectic blocked sewer or blocked grease trap?
I'm immune to the sewer smell, so I don't really. That just smells like a sweet aroma to me now. The thing, grease traps. Yeah, look, the grease traps are probably the thing I hate is more if you get to a restaurant and the fucking ovens are greasy, and you come out and it's like, mate, your tools are gone, mate. Your tools, you're using gloves, but you're holding tools, and I think the greasiness of the things that's annoying. But I think maybe the grease is probably just a touch. I've got too much experience in the grease traps compared to the sewers.
Okay. But the worst one I ever had, on a side note, was ever smell I've ever smelled was like for a while in Adelaide they were getting like a Myer Centre would get like a Gloria Jean's coffee just put in the middle of it where there was no sewer points or anything like that. So it's like a kiosk they make up basically, and everything gets pumped. Everything gets pumped into a big stainless steel chamber, and then every day it gets disconnected, or every few days, and like wheeled out to the back of the Myer Centre, and then chucked down the cleaner sink like with a pump. And like every week it would block up, and all that would go into it pretty much was hot, warm milk, and then mixed with water, and it would be like 300 liters of it, and you'd lift the lid, man, and it would be like purple fluff, purple and pink fluff. It was by a mile the worst smell. But anyway, type of video you're most tagged in, or the one you received the most. Type of video.
I think the dodgy plumbing videos, mate. Me and I think me and World's Worst Plumber get the same sort of tags in, all those dodgy plumbing videos. And
what about you? Because I see there's a lot of root pulls, and there's a lot, and there's a lot of like crazy toilet bowls that are just like dark brown, you know, like
Yeah, there's a few
you
floaties.
get a
Yeah,
lot of those.
I think the tree roots have I think mainly from what I've noticed, they're mainly in the northern part of Australia, up top there where they get the big roots in their lines. But yeah, I think the
Yeah,
tree root ones, the blockage ones, um, even I get a lot of food, like a lot of food ones too. People tag me in like local takeaway shops that we go to as well, which is pretty
oh
cool.
dear. Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, something like I mean, sometimes you got to feed your stomach first before you can continue the day. If you got to,
oh, 100%.
you got to can't start the day without a coffee and whatever, something simple
Yeah.
to eat.
What about
But
tool?
yeah,
Tool wise, blue, red, or yellow? I think I know
I
the
think
answer.
yeah, red, definitely red. They got more plumbing orientated um, tools. But
Yeah,
yeah, I think the Makita and all that's a bit more chippy orientated. They haven't got anything really for plumbers.
that is a good point.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, DeWalt don't really have things for plumbers. I don't think they're interested in plumbing.
Hmm.
But I think yeah, the
What about
red
B
team.
press tools? What's your favorite press tool?
My favorite is the Milwaukee. I've got the Milwaukee one, the M18 one.
Hmm.
Pretty bulletproof. I had the Rothenberger one, the compact tool,
Hmm.
which fucking shit itself 3 times. And they were blaming me. They're like, no, you got to get serviced every 12 months. I said, mate, I haven't even used the friggin'. I used it like 6 times and it
Mm,
friggin' broke down.
yeah.
Um, so I keep that at home now as a pure emergency tool. I don't even bother. And even still, when I get it, like sometimes my mate comes around and he borrows the press tool. Goes, mate, I need your press tool. So I give him the big one because it goes up to 50 mil.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'll bring it tomorrow. And I said, you know what? I'll just hold on to it. I'll just throw this Rothenberger one in the car. And even still, like I'm taking it in the car. It doesn't feel right. I'm like, if this thing lets me down, I'm going to lose it
Yeah. You lost
because
faith.
I lost faith. I had to because the last job I did, I had 2 crimps to go on a Saturday, and I remember it was 11:45 on a Saturday, and Reese closed at 12. Um, and the tool had 2 crimps left, and the tool broke down, and I literally
Mm,
like couldn't finish. I jumped in the car, um, went there, and they gave me another tool. They gave me the big Rothenberger one.
yeah. Yeah.
I ran back, finished the crimp, and then I had to go take the tool back on Monday. And then the tool goes, oh yeah, and then they never charged me any time for those bloody repairs.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
charged 3. One was a hydraulic, one was this other tube, one was something else. I said, mate, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'm not gonna
Probably the
get.
one thing that gets me with the Rothenberger is you only get one battery, which
Oh,
just
okay,
doesn't
okay,
seem right. Like,
yeah,
because when the battery goes flat, like, what do? Just wait around and wait for it to charge.
yeah,
So,
yep.
never been stoked about only getting one battery. Like, if you get a standalone tool that's not in a set, like Milwaukee, Makita, you should at least come with two batteries so you can
Oh, yeah, I
always
think
use it.
so.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But anyway, press or weld,
but
following on from that.
I used to like welding, but then there's no time for it anymore. Um,
Yeah.
I used to sit there. We used to do all 50 mil and gas lines and stuff like that. I'd sit there and weld all day under a house and everything. But
Yeah.
I remember one when I was an apprentice. We used to have 30-meter leads on our oxy tool, right? So we
Oh,
had the bottles.
geez,
They
that's
had the
heavy.
bottles and yeah, we had the bottles just mounted in the car, and we used to unload it. We used to have a hook on the back, and we used to just open the door and just roll the oxys all the way out. And they used to go everywhere. You could sit there and weld under a kitchen sink with this thing with
Yeah.
the leads, and then just roll them back up and put them back in the car again.
Yeah.
But now, like looking back, it was just like you'd get like a Friday special where you'd be going 5 o'clock and there's a burst pipe under a house, and I was like, mate, come on, and it's dark, and then we had to go there and weld it and crap like that.
You can't get the
And I
water out and it's
can't
steaming
get the water, and
and Yeah.
And yeah, all the rest of this, and then you're yelling at the other guy, disconnect the meter, fucking, you
Yeah.
And like I look back and go, mate, there's a like, even when I put press videos up and everyone's like, oh, you know, you got to whatever, sweating's better or whatever it is. I think, mate, I don't have enough time in the day to do it. I'd love to sit there if I had nothing to do all day, and yes, no interruptions, and you know you're going to be there all day. Yep, no worries. I'll weld them all up, you know. But when you sit there and you start working, and your phone rings, and you know someone's busting your chops to go somewhere else, it's like, mate, this is not fun. It's not fun 100%. To sit there and weld.
Copper or poly?
I'll always go copper. Always copper. Everything I do is copper now.
Is it?
Yeah, everything. Except for water pipes. Some water pipes and bathroom renos, I'll go rehow. But I think the main stuff now, I always go copper. Gas lines and all that.
Yeah. And lastly, well, we sort of touched on it before, but maybe your favorite plumbing tool that you couldn't live without. What's your one tool that you just love?
Look, I do love the tool I use every day is probably the press tool. And believe it or not, the simplest thing I've got is the M12 little pivot light. The little one that swivels and it's got the magnetic on there. That comes to like every single job I do. Yeah. And like it sticks onto anywhere. You'll find something magnetic nearby and just stick it on, and it gives you enough light to do what you're doing. But I think that's the most underrated tool. But that one there I use it everywhere, every single job. That's the one tool I use on every single job. I think it's my favorite.
Maybe that's the answer to your question I asked you earlier too.
Yeah, simple as it is, I think just a nice torch just to see what you're doing. That stays up and gets it done quicker. I think is the key. Yeah,
good torch is underrated actually. Well, look, man, thanks heaps for joining us on the podcast, mate. And next time in Melbourne, which I've got something in the works, maybe that might be going down. So I'd love to maybe try and catch up for an actual real beer, not a virtual beer, one time. And
no worries,
meet you in person. So,
yep, thanks for having me on.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, and stay in touch on the socials.
No worries, man. Awesome.
Thanks for tuning in to another Plumbify podcast. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and all the usual podcast platforms.